Boys, today, as you guys read in the title, we're going to be doing the next champs or next to go 2025 edition. Pretty much which fighters in the UFC in every division is going to have a very successful year where we're thinking, okay, this dude is a title contender for sure. And which guys are going to fall off here where we're thinking, their ass is about to get shipped to that new Unk League. But with that being said, we got every single division here, flyweight down to heavyweight. And before we begin, if I miss anyone on this list, let me know in the comments below. Let's start off with flyweight. I think, arguably next champion and someone who I think is going to have a really good 2025. I think he's going to rebound after taking his first loss last year. Talking about Tatsuro Taira. I think this dude's going to have a crazy 2025. And before he fought Brandon Royval, 16-0, ended up having a split decision loss. It is what it is. No fault until losing to Brandon Royval, especially when Tatsuro Taira right now is so young in the UFC. And without a doubt, I would probably say this dude needs to fix up some striking here and there, and he'll definitely be I don't want to say he's going to be a champion, but there's a very high likelihood that this dude eventually becomes a champion. Like I said, he's just so young in the UFC. I could see this guy becoming a champion. And realistically, this guy's only been in the UFC for a few years now. Nothing crazy. And he's right there. He was a fight away from being the #1 contender. But yeah, Tatsuro Taira I have here. Someone who I think is going to have a very solid bounce back win in 2025 and come back and go on an absolute tear. Again, he's so young, constantly going to be improving. And I think this loss at Brandon Royval is just going to make him grind even more in the gym, putting in some extra work to get better. All the faults, all the things that he did wrong in that fight, I think he's going to correct. But moving down to someone who, honestly, I don't see having a very successful 2025. And I hate to say it because this is I like this dude. He's a fun fighter. He's a fun personality. I'm talking about the boy Manel Kape. Unfortunately, I just don't think Manel Kape is, I don't think he's that level, I don't think he's top of the top level. Like looking at the rankings right here, he's ranked number 6. I don't know if he beats anyone above him. Tatsuro Taira, it's a possibility. But, if Tatsuro Taira is putting in that work and improving, I don't know if Manel Kape beats him. Kai Kara France, I think that would have been the best choice. I think that would have been the best fight for him to go into that fight and then get a title shot. But again, I don't know if he beats Kai Kara France. Amir Albazi, it's possible. I think I would favor Manel Kape to beat Albazi right now at least. And then Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval, I don't think he beats them. Same thing, I don't think he beats Pantoja. So unfortunately, I don't see Manel Kape having a very successful 2025. If that means he only fights one time in 2025 against Brandon Royval and loses, it is what it is. Because this dude is very, very inactive. He only fought once in 2022, once in 2023. Granted, twice last year, but there's a bunch of cancellation bouts. And at the end of the day, I don't see him beating any of the top level flyweights. Let's go down to Bantamweight division. Someone who I think is going to have a very successful year and is going to be right there in talks for a title shot. I'm talking about Aiemann Zahabi right now. This dude in Bantamweight, I looked at a lot of guys you could put here, but I just think, he has the most leg room, to be honest, to grow from. Right now, he's only ranked number 13. I definitely see him climbing that ladder to be close to that top 5 spot, maybe even over top 5 right now. And I think by the end of 2025, he's a win or two away from being next up for the belt. And it's crazy because he's been in the UFC for a while now. 2017, he came in here, got a decision win, then had back-to-back losses. It is what it is. Then back in 2021, it went on an absolute tear. He's currently on a 5-fight win streak, 2 of them being by knockout, the rest by decision. He has a win over one of the Bash Rap Bros. He completely just dominated Pedro Munoz, which not a lot of people can just confidently get past Pedro Munoz. Someone like we looked at the Marlon Vera versus Munoz. Marlon, it wasn't as easy as someone like a Zahabi. Going into the rankings, Kyler Phillips, I think Zahabi beats him. Jose Aldo, a tough fight. Mario Batista, a tough fight. Rob Font, easy fight. Song Yadong, a tough fight. Henry Cejudo, Marlon Vera, both of them easy fights in my opinion for Zahabi. Davidson Figueiredo, hard fight. Corey Sandhagen, hard fight. Peter Yan, Umar, and O'Malley, all hard fights. But I think he can get into at least top 7 by the end of 2025. I think he's gonna have a very good 2025. Moving down, someone who, again, I don't know about this dude. I don't think he's gonna have a very good 2025. I don't know if he's gonna have much success anywhere. We completely saw that he's just not that guy. He got overhyped. Yes, he's a fun guy. I don't think there's a lot of haters on his personality, but he's just overhyped. He doesn't deserve to be in the rankings, at least where he is currently. I'm talking about Chito Vera. Chito Vera right now being ranked number 6, I think he drops down to maybe even in the 10 to 11 range by the end of 2025, because I just don't know who he beats. He's coming off the O'Malley loss. He's coming off the Davidson Figueiredo loss. Let's go down from Umar down. Umar, he does not beat Umar. He does not beat Peter Yan. Corey Sandhagen, I mean, it's a possibility he could get it done, but we already saw Corey Sandhagen already schooled Marlon Vera, so I don't think he gets it done. Henry Cejudo, it's a possibility, but again, even at this point, I think Henry beats someone like a Chito Vera. Song Yadong, I think that's a very competitive fight, but I just think Song has improved way more than Vera. I think he beats Rob Font. Mario Batista, I think even Mario Batista beats him. Jose Aldo, I think Jose Aldo beats him. Kyler Phillips, I could see Kyler Phillips getting it done over him. I mean, a lot of the guys in here, I think, beat Chito Vera. I don't know who he fights next. If he's smart, he fights someone like a Rob Font, even though he just recently fought Rob Font not too long ago, back in 2022, and beat him. So I don't know who this guy fights. I just don't see him having a very successful 2025, unfortunately. Let's go down featherweight division. Featherweight division, I think we're going to have I'm not going to say a new champion, but I'm looking at this now because they just announced a fight for this guy. I'm talking about Diego Lopez. He's scheduled to fight Yair Rodriguez on the UFC Fight Night Mexico card. I think he beats Yair, but after that, I'm looking at the rankings. I think he gets a title shot. I don't think he beats Ilya, but I think he does have a very successful 2025 if that's beating someone like a Yair Rodriguez, and then maybe in the meantime, Ilya Topuria goes to fight Islam Makhachev for double champ status. He fights someone like a Mozart Evloev for a interim belt and wins that. I could see that 100% happening, but to be honest, featherweight, I don't see many people having the success as I think Diego Lopez is going to have. Moving down to who I think is going to have, a pretty bad 2025, Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar is on a very, very sharp decline, and mark my words, he will be out of the rankings by the end of 2025. Last time we saw him was at UFC 300 against Sterling. Sterling, a former champion, and he ended up losing to Sterling. It is what it is. But even since then, the Arnold Allen fight, he didn't look good there. The Josh Emmett fight didn't look the greatest there. And I just think Father Time has definitely caught up to him. The Wars has caught up to him. I don't know who he wins against in the top 15. Let's go down from Edson Barboza. I could see even Edson's kind of washed though, so I don't know if he beats Edson Barboza. I could see Dan Ige getting it done over Calvin Kattar. Bryce Mitchell, I think he can get it done over him. Giga is also very washed. Lerone Murphy, I could see getting it done. And then from 9 and up, I don't know. I don't think he beats anyone 9 and up. So I think, unfortunately, I think we're going to see a bunch of people fall out of the top 15 in featherweight. Like Barbosa, Giga, and Calvin Kattar. I could all see 2025 out of the top 15. Moving into lightweight. Lightweight, we have an underrated dude that people have forgotten about, and I think he's gonna have a great comeback, a good 2025. I'm talking about Rafael Fiziev. This dude hasn't fought in a minute now, close to a year now, because of the Gamrot injury. He had a leg injury. Before that, he lost the majority decision to Justin Gaethje, but before that, this dude was on a tear. He didn't lose since 2019, having a 6-fight win streak, half of them by TKO, half of them by decision. And he had some good names on there. He had, Moicano by KO. He had Bobby Green by decision, Brad Riddell by KO, RDA by KO. I mean, he has some good names on there. I think once this guy is recovered, there was talks about him being a champion, a future champion. But, once he's recovered, once he's ready to go, I think this dude is going to be a problem for a lot of these lightweights. He's currently ranked so far down, ranked 11. You're telling me Fiziev, once he's all healed up, he doesn't run through lightweight, at least a good portion of lightweight? He already beat Moicano. I think he beats Dariush. Gamrot would be a fun rematch. I think he would beat Gamrot. Chandler, I think he beats Chandler. Hooker would be a stupid fun fight. I don't know who I'd pick there. Then we have Dustin Poirier, Gaethje, Oliveira, and Armin, man. I think he's going to have a very successful year. I think he might have 2-3 maximum wins. I don't see him losing in 2025. And I see him being right there, back up to the top 7 spot by the end of 2025. Someone who I think is going to have a fall off from grace, someone who's not going to have the best 2025. It's going to be the boy, old man Beneil Dariush. The dude that I was glazing saying he's going to be he's a hardest test for Islam Makhachev. I hate myself for gaslighting myself into believing that. But right now, scheduled to fight Moicano, UFC 311. When am I posting this video? I'm posting this the day before 311. Okay, all this stuff was pre-recorded a little bit in advance, so I honestly didn't know this. But this is getting recorded, or this is getting posted on Friday, I believe, and then tomorrow is 311. So I don't think he gets past Moicano. And then, if he loses to Moicano, I think he goes down to he drops all the way down to 10th in the rankings. Then, like I said, I think Fiziev beats him. I don't know if Benoit beats him. Benoit versus Beneil would be a good competitive fight. I think Paddy beats him. Jalen Turner beats him. Joel Alvarez beats him. I think Beneil Dariush I think Beneil retires this year, to be honest. So when he loses to the boy Moicano, he might have one more fight and then retire, or just retire all in general. So I think Beneil definitely going to have the hardest 2025. Let's go down. Welterweight division. This is a long shot. Hear me out, though. I'm putting this out here so when it does happen, I can say I told you so. The next champion in welterweight is going to be Joaquin Buckley. He's going to fight Kamaru Usman next. He's going to beat Kamaru Usman. Then he's going to fight Bilal Muhammad, who's going to come off a decision win over Shavkat, and he's going to beat Bilal Muhammad and become champion, and that will be 2025 for him. He's going to fight 2 times He's going to fight 2 times this year and end off as champion. Mark my words. The guy that I think is going to have a big fall off from grace this year, unfortunately, is going to be the boy Gilbert Burns. When we saw the downfall of Tyron Woodley, I think it was probably even the Gilbert Burns fight, we were like, yeah, he's completely cooked. That's how I felt when I saw him fight Sean Brady. Gilbert Burns he's done. You can tell when fighters get to that point where they're not the same fighter anymore. He's currently on a 3-fight losing streak. I think he's scheduled to fight Michael Morales. I don't know if he gets past Michael Morales. And then into the rankings themselves, right now he's ranked number 8. I could see him beating someone like a Colby Covington, maybe even a Jeff Neal. I could still see him beating some of these guys in the rankings. But again, if he's fighting Michael Morales, who's ranked number 12, he's going to drop into the rankings. Below him, Carlos Prades. I don't know if he gets past Prades. Vicente Luque, he could probably beat Luque at this point. And then MVP, I don't know. I don't know if MVP can beat him, but if that does happen, that would be 4 fights in a row that are losses. And I think the Gilbert Burns saga is over. Unfortunately, I don't see him having a very successful 2025. Let's go into middleweight division. I think someone who's going to have a very successful year coming out of those fighting nerds. I think Caio Borralho is going to have a stupid 2025. I think he's going to have more highlights, more KOs, and looking at the rankings right now, he is ranked number 6. I could see him versus someone like a Imavov next. I could see him even getting a Marvin Vettori fight next. I think it would be crazy if Borralho knocks out Marvin Vettori, to be honest, because that dude's never been knocked out. But again, I just see him having a very successful year where he either ends the year off as a title contender or he ends it off with a title fight. I think that's the path for Caio Borralho. Someone who I think is going to have a very bad 2025 and I think is going to retire this year, Israel Adesanya. Adesanya is going to fight Imavov. He's going to win. And then after that, he's going to get a title shot. By that point, I think Chimaev will be champion. I think he's going to submit Israel Adesanya and he's going to retire. With that being said, this video is getting long as hell. Let's run through light heavyweight and then heavyweight real quick, because to be honest, these light heavyweight and heavyweight, nothing that interesting. Someone who I think is going to have a very successful 2025, Jan Blachowicz. Now, maybe I'm just saying this to put it into the universe because I want my boy Jan to come back. I'm hoping, you know, he still has got it after that double shoulder surgery. I'm hoping he beats Carlos Ulberg, either comes back against the winner of Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill, gets a win there, and then I think that would be his 2025. But then someone who I think is going to have a very bad year, unfortunately. It pains me to say this. I don't think my boy Yuri is going to have a great 2025. I just think the damage from Alex Pereira, just not from Alex Pereira alone, but his whole career, this dude has taken way too much punishment. I think Yuri Prochazka falls off hard. I think he gets knocked out by Jamal Hill. Then after that, I could see him versus someone like a Khalil Roundtree. I think even Khalil beats him. I'll have to see how he looks when he fights Jamal Hill, but I just have a bad feeling that he's not going to have a very good 2025, and it's going to pain me to watch every single time. Heavyweight division, just so we can have this for the story. I think Mick Parkin is going to do great things in 2025, building up that rivalry for Tom Aspinall so they can have a great trilogy. And I think someone who's going to have a very bad 2025 is going to be the boy Tai Tuivasa. This dude hasn't won since he knocked out Derek Lewis, which feels like forever ago. He's just not disciplined anymore. I don't think he hasn't won since February 2022. So I think Tai Tuivasa falls out of the rankings, and his ass might get shipped to the Unk League, to be honest. With that being said, those are my picks in every single division. Let me know your guys's. Thank you for watching to the end of the video, and there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.